Craig Egan here. I am in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Just wanted to give you a quick update about what happened yesterday. Yesterday was supposed to be Des Moines, and they were supposed to be at a public park. As I explained in an earlier video, we decided to call the Parks Department and then City Hall and try to see if they were supportive of their agenda and their efforts, and if they were honest about who they were and why they were there. And it turns out they weren't. But by the time City Hall or the Parks Department called the Vax team to try to question them, they'd already canceled it and moved it on to an undisclosed location. So we didn't go to that because we didn't know where it was, but we did go to Des Moines anyway, because through a little bit of sleuthing online, we found out there was actually a viewing of Vax happening at a movie theater that night, and it was very hush-hush. There was not very well promoted, but we found it anyway, so we decided to go. So went over to Des Moines, bought ourselves some tickets, went and sat in the theater. The local host who was running the show there came up and talked to us, was very friendly. She said that there should be more people coming, but there was only a few people there. By the time the movie started and throughout the movie, there was, at my count, 11 people. And that included me and my girlfriend. It included the host who was running it and her 3 young children. And it also included another family of husband and wife and daughter. And then there were 2 other individual people at the show. They all had Vax shirts on. They all seemed to know each other. I swear they probably could have just done it in one of their living room because there was no need to rent out a whole movie theater for the amount of people who were there, especially if they were trying to show it to me. I was only there to observe, check it out. I finally saw Vax. It was a steaming pile of dung. I'll give a fuller review of that later. But we watched the movie with, like I said, a handful of people. It was very notable that the Vax team was not there. No Polly, no one new. No Suzanne Humphreys or Del Bigtree or any of the Vax team. They did not show up to their own viewing, even though they had an event in that same city that day. I don't know if they didn't show up because they knew I was going to be there, because I bought tickets and posted them online, or if they didn't show up because they knew nobody else was going to show up and it wasn't worth their time, because it's a shitty movie that nobody wants to see. Anyway, they didn't see it. I thought to myself, oh, maybe they broke down. Maybe they never actually made it to Des Moines. But sure enough, as we left the theater, got on the freeway, headed to Minneapolis, about 5 minutes up the freeway, at a hotel on the side of the freeway, we see the Vax bus. So I'm figuring that's where they moved their storytelling event to, was that hotel. Sometimes they do it in hotels like they did in Spokane. So there they were. Now we're on to Minneapolis, Minnesota, which is interesting because this location they're keeping super quiet. They don't want anybody to know where they are. Even in the secret groups that I'm in, they're all very hush-hush about it. They're only allowed to tell another person who they know personally and have met in person where the location's going to be. So they are trying to weed out any sort of sock puppets. So I figure tomorrow, they're starting about noon. I figure if I drive around town aimlessly, checking out the parks, I should find them by about 12:30. So we'll see tomorrow if we find the Vax bus or not. It's a mystery. They won't tell me where they're at. Funny enough, though, this morning I saw a reporter from a local radio station on the Vax page asking about the event, saying, hey, where's the bus going to be? We'll come and interview you. And they said, no, we're not telling you where the bus is going to be. We don't want any media coverage. And I thought that was kind of funny. So I called that reporter at the radio station and was like, hey, you asked where the Vax bus is. I don't suppose you found out. I'm protesting it. I can't find out either. And she said, no, we didn't find out where it is, but I'd love to interview you. So they interviewed me instead. So instead of interviewing the Vax people and letting them get in their words about the dangers of toxic vaccines, they interviewed me instead because the Vax people didn't want to talk to them. So that's fine. I'll consider that a win. I'll consider it a win when they go so far underground that they have to be uber paranoid about where their location is. It turns out also that they claimed that they have police the police are involved. That if anybody, if I show up, they're going to try to call the police on me. And it turns out that they actually did call the police on me back in Kansas City. So we'll see how that works out. If I find them at a park and start put up my protest signs, see if the police come and arrest me. I doubt they will. It's America. I'm allowed to protest. See what happens. So we'll drive around town tomorrow, try to find the Vax bus, see if we can't find them. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. Maybe we'll just move on to Bettendorf, I think. But we're in it for the long haul. We'll see you tomorrow. Namaste.